Hey, it's Don. I'm just going to be taking some photos. I already had my son taking some just a little while ago. We're going to just show you a little bit on how we set up like big batches of things. We're taking photos of buttons, so we're going to categorize them. I'll show you the light table where we take the photos, the little stand I built, the lights that I use, and the whole thing. I've shown these before, but this whole setup's a little different now because we are making a custom little stand just to hold buttons. So this is where we do the photos. This is the stand. I've got a lot of other stuff sitting here. This is stuff waiting to photo, or like this stack here's postcards, some other oddball things we just haven't sorted through yet. More postcards down underneath here, as well as other cards and little tiny photos and things. Some things we do use the camera for that aren't like a 3D object. We already started photoing buttons, and you can see some. Let me dump these out so you can see. Everything will be numbered and labeled. So you can see this is B1. This bag will be labeled with a big B on it. So everything inside this bag will just be B labeled. So B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. And then here's some more that we're actually going to be photoing too. I'm going to turn the lights on in a second here. It's going to get really bright for just a minute, and I think this will settle back down in just a second here, but literally it just sticks them in the bag. We try to keep them similar wise from like a same area or something of the same style or type of button, whether they be business or something like that. These are already been sorted. You know, these are all things that are readily identifiable just by what's on them. So these will be easy, quick lists as well. 2 photos of everything that we do. So we'll do a front and just a back. And I'll show you in just a second here how easy it is to photo something like this. A lot of people have a problem. Well, how am I going to get that to do flat? And how's it going to be a real good photo because of the shank on the back? But this is just a perfect example of the type of things and how we set them up. We'll do only so many in this bag. We got a bag for C, D, E, F, G. Each one of these big bags here will have 15 or 20 of these little bags in it. So you'll still have to look through, grab the bag, and then dig through the buttons. But it's not so bad as it seems. I can pull out a button in just a matter of 20 or 30 seconds most of the time. So it's not a huge ordeal. Again, I use the same method for anything small. If I was doing marbles or vintage marks, I'd just bag them up the exact same way, one master bag, and then in those I would have different little bags. So if I had individual figures, I could bag them up this way as well. It works good. These numbers you can stick in the title, or you can do a custom SKU. So this would be B1. Now I can use B1 for other items. You'll see B1 for photos, for postcards, records, and all that stuff. I know these are buttons, so I'm not looking in the record section. So it doesn't matter if I use B1 for multiple items, as long as it's not in the same category, the same listing group. There's no way I'm going to mix up a button with a postcard or a button with a record. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So I can safely list them or do this way and use the numbers over and over and over again. So now here's with the lights on. You can see it's pretty bright. Let me turn on the camera here so you can get a gist from there. Now, obviously it's not so bad. Once you're taking a bunch of photos, you'll get pretty used to it. Knowing the camera and what you're using obviously are a key to what you do. Let's just pull out a button here. So I've also made this little stand right here. And what I've done is I've just cut a little hole for a couple of buttons. The shank fits perfectly in the back, so I can just line them up and take a couple photos like that. It's just made out of the foam board that you use for, say, a kid's science fair project. And then all I do is I cut strips of it for the edges. They're pinned in, so I can use these pieces over if I ever want to. And it's just tape that holds it on after the pins are in there. So this is really sturdy. I mean, it would take a lot to mess this up and ruin this. So let's go back over to the lighting area. Again, it's going to be really bright. You can just literally stick this in here. In fact, let me zoom in here just to show you. Again, these are my lights. I've got other things stuck in here that we're waiting to take photos on. Lights are pretty darn bright. They're big, huge, massive bulbs, as you can see. Let's zoom in here so you can see. This is a Nikon D5300, and you can pretty much see, hopefully, you can see there how it comes out. I can adjust it, obviously. So it comes out pretty good. I've got a special lens on the end with a micro on it. Let me unplug this so you can see. Now we've got the lights off so you can see this massive size of these bulbs. Now some of the light displays that you get to take photos have 4 of these type of bulbs in it. So this is my cam stand. This thing works awesome. I also have this, which is a trigger button. So I can click the button and take a photo without shaking anything. So there's no motion whatsoever when you take the photo. This stand is pretty darn secure. It's got tight bolts all the way around it. I actually have quite a few of them. There's another one right here, which is a newer version of this exact same stand. And this holds up my Sony A6400. But either way you go, any versions of these stands I love. Cam stand is the name of it. It works great. And with like my stand that I made, we make these for all types of things. You can make them for any type of object. There's glass stands I see people make. There's jewelry stands you can make out of these as well too. You can even make rounded versions or anything you really want. But even for taking a photo of the back, it's the same basic principle. All you've got to do is turn it over and it actually sits in that same hole. So boom, you've got a perfect way to take a photo of the back. Let's show you over here as well. You just line up it on the back. It's just enough to stop it from moving. So the same hole is all you need. Is just pop it in there. So you could punch a whole bunch of holes into one of these and do a whole bunch at the same time and line them up. We've got a lot to do. We're actually going to be doing a book and using some of these illustrations for the book. Some of these photos were taken. So we're taking our time. I want them all to look right. With that camera, we pretty much check, you know, the focus and everything on every single one as we do them, because it can change a little bit on each one. But got some other stuff we're getting ready to photo, some die cuts. I've got some cards already photoed, ready to list as well. Those were just scanned the other day. So again, this is like one area that we use to photo. We've got a couple other areas we can do the exact same thing. These lights here as well, I've had some people ask about them. These lights, I made these boxes. It's just a light bulb, a standard socket that's designated for high temp, and then I've lined these with aluminum foil. These box frames themselves are just corrugated plastic, basically. It's like a cardboard made out of PVC or plastic. It's really sturdy and stiff. I've got all the electronic parts in the top. It just has a regular cord running out of them. Let me show you this too. Now, I had done a repair job, and again, I'll have a link to the video up top. I repaired this piece here, but I actually found a missing section. So if you remember that video, I actually was able to complete the entire back, and I may go back in and touch up some of these spots, but as you can see, it's very stiff, very solid. While we're here, I figured I'd just show you that, because again, I thought I was done, and then I actually found another piece to it. Must have fallen off in the stack of the other junk for repair. But something like this, though, I should still get 20-25 bucks for on a good day, maybe a little more. Even with the repair, it's actually sturdier than it was prior to me repairing it. But this is an 1870s, 80s Valentine is what this one is. Well, that's what I have today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas on this. I get all types of questions on how do you categorize and sort and store these items in mass quantity when you get them like that. And hopefully that explains it for something like buttons. You could do the same thing with coins or anything, sewing supplies. Just use a big bin and the same numbering structure for anything that you do. But that's about it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Any last request?
I'll have a beer.
Bull.
B-U-L-L. The name of your secret organization, of course.
Get smart. The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull. It's got more taste than beer. More quality ingredients than premium beer.
Bull does have more taste than beer. That's 14 of my crack agents breaking through that wall. Would you believe one wild bull? Don't say beer, say bull. The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull.